A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart's family carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart. And then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me. Ask Eliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything. What were you saying about the traffic?
I can't believe it. I know you should be ready for it. I know it should not be a big deal. It is an assault. Today's my fun day. We podcast, you know what I mean? Easy breezy.
Easy breezy, no
I
shows.
leave an hour to, now I just realize I'm going to be out later, so I'm going to have to do the drive again. I live in the valley, but, I leave an hour to get here.
Yeah.
When that shit is over an hour.
Something's wrong. Someone's dead.
Not on that's why we do this at this time, so we can chill out.
We're podcasting right now, you guys, in the middle of the day so that people can get here. Yeah.
And I know I should know. It's traffic. It's not a new thing, but it still is. It's something you can't control. It's something that you expect one thing to happen and then it doesn't happen. And it just fucks with you in a way that you can't get past it.
Also,
sometimes.
because you're late.
Then you're
as you were
late.
today. And you feel it reflects poorly on you when really you're I'm the on-time person.
It's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, am I an asshole for not expecting this traffic? And no, you're not.
Where did you come from?
Encino.
I don't think that's... I think an hour is more than enough time.
Thank you.
I allot an hour to go Santa Monica to Hollywood during rush hour.
I don't know what happened today.
I think that's okay. And I think if you live in LA and you don't accept that traffic thing, then you are not a true Los Angelino.
You really aren't. There's a bunch of different legs to it. There's the getting out of the valley leg. There's the mid leg.
There's a lot of legs.
There's a lot of legs.
I was flying in from Portland and I was staring down at LA a couple days ago and I was looking at, it was either the 405 or the 101. And it was interesting because the traffic was moving fine. And then there's a slight bend in the freeway. And all of a sudden, everything just slowed down. And I kept looking what are you guys looking at? What are you looking at?
Are you going to introduce your guest?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
This is the little preamble.
Okay,
I love how close you guys are. They're just
staring at. They know it's her. That's why
we're
they
invested.
tuned in.
Okay.
Are you really going to make me stop my traffic story to introduce Lynn Rajskub?
This is conversational traffic. Welcome to LA.
You know her from 24. You know her from Mr. Show. You know her from Arrested Development. You know her from just being a funny comedian who you've probably seen in your area.
Thank you.
It's Lynn Rajskub. I learned how to say your name, I think, one of the first times I met you because I, too, have a difficult last name.
Did I say it right?
What'd you say?
Schlesinger.
Yeah, you did.
You don't even
Little
listen
trepidation.
anymore.
I heard it. I think
Because I listened to your podcast in preparation. Who were you
appreciate
talking to? I think
Maybe
a couple different people.
Yeah, maybe my dad.
Oh, no, I think I heard you on Joe Rogan.
Oh.
And there was
'cause
a
it's always
whole back
thing.
and forth.
I heard enough of the right syllables come out of your mouth that I was like, it's fine. Because I've stopped correcting people unless it's a full-on massacre.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to hear the rest of my traffic story. It was just that traffic slowed down
really
for no
took the
reason.
wind out of her sails.
It's just that it was slowing for no reason because people were like, oh, I got a break.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
And I was like, this is the problem. That and pedestrians.
Where people don't have a flow and they're
No
going
flow.
all different. Today was just jammed.
Do you need to sleep here?
I need to not
go back.
go back.
Don't go back.
People ask why Emily drives me everywhere, so I don't have to pay attention.
I was wondering about that with you with all of your traveling. How do you deal with it?
What do you mean?
Not about her driving. Like, does it bother you? Or do you what do you do when you are in airports, in transit, mentally?
I just sort of zone out.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just stare at the back of the seat in front of me and I just let my mind dribble. But I usually mindlessly scroll through Instagram or like hate check other things that I don't like and then go into a spiral about why someone else is better than me and then I fire off an angry email. Then I feel better. You know? You must do that too. I can't be the only one. I don't know. You and I might not be wired the same. I feel like you're like, just chill.
I think I need to learn how to fire off more angry emails.
I'll show you.
I certainly have.
Yeah.
I certainly have.
Well,
I need to be more. I'm less. I keep it inside.
But so recently you had this thing about, you're like, I don't want to audition anymore.
Oh, yeah, you saw that?
I saw that. My assistant told me about it, and then I saw that, and I didn't get into it because I didn't want to, I'm, always on my friend's side. So I'm on your side. I don't know what the impetus for it was, and I was like, I'll just ask her.
Do you want to take the other side?
I can.
But what do you feel in your heart?
Were
you like, what the F is wrong with her for typing
as an
this?
auditioning actress, I'm like, this is exhausting. I feel like, I guess it depends on what parts you're saying you don't want to read for. You're saying you should be offer only.
See, I knew it. You're
No.
like, what the fuck is up with this bitch?
Because I don't know. I don't know. What was the impetus? What happened let's take us back, Marilyn.
It's interesting because now that I've had some time away from it, I definitely stick by it.
Yeah.
It was very exciting. I feel so much better now, but I do sort of see how it was like an emotional. I don't usually tweet like that. So it was very exciting. The attention that it got and that it was like a real dialogue and people were like really feeling it. But then I also recognize that it probably comes off like, what's wrong with you? Or like, so, I think Seth Green was like super sweet in the tweet, but he was just like, you'll get him next time. And I was like, no, you don't understand. There's no next time. And I definitely stand by where I was at, but I'm definitely in a very much calmer place than I was at the time. It was a buildup of, I think last year, past few years, it's been a buildup to that. And
a buildup because you've been asked to read and not gotten a part? Because I think you work a decent amount.
Well, that's the perception of me, which is correct. I work a lot, and I have been working a lot. But
I've literally never booked a role on TV. I'm sorry, one line. Go on.
Well, see, you have something that is your own personality is its own business. You know what I mean? Fair. I did stand up, and then I kind of went out of stand up to go into acting,
right.
And I feel like you have a whole business. That's you. Not that answers the question of auditioning.
No, I get it.
But I've just sort of done acting, and I've got a good 15 years of, I would say before that, over 20 years of acting now at this point. And when I first started out, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe this is happening. I can't believe I get to do this. And I still feel very lucky and fortunate, and I respect the process, and I would say even more so. My skills are stronger. I have more of a respect for it. I understand what people are doing.
Yeah.
Like back in the 90s, I'd be like, oh, what's their problem?
Right.
I really would not memorize. I would not know what's going on. And I'd be like, why are they? It took me years to be like, oh yeah, casting producers are casting is awesome. They're usually great people who are on your side. And for the most part,
they want you to get the gig.
They want you to get it, and they want to be
home.
helpful. And also, they're in there with you. So they're not auditioning, but they're going through the ups and downs. Anyway, I just got to a point where it was time after time where it's so far away from for me personally, far away from the creative process of it. Because I think as a performer and my personality type, I'm always like, yeah, whatever you need. I'm very agreeable. Let's go to the creative process. And when I see that it's about so many other things, people are not casting. And forgive me because it's a generalization. Again, I respect all the people and all around that are just trying to make their thing. And I get it. You need to see people. You need to see how people read the part. But for me, it was like, they love you for this. They're just going to go around and for diversity, they're going to go take a pass. And if they come back to Caucasian,
Right.
it's like you knew I was Caucasian before you made me drive across town and go read a part that I could have done in my sleep that now somehow after the body of work that I have, it's like it's gone down.
Mm-hmm.
I get like producers, but now I'm like back to regular casting on tape. And I don't know if it's an ego thing on my part, but I'm just not willing to be that person 5, 10, 15 years from now who's like, yep, I'm going to sit in a room with a bunch of people.
Right.
Like, I'm just not going to do it. You can Google me being, the business person. You can Google me being the weirdo with no makeup. You can Google me being bossy, angry, emotional. I have a lot of experience and I bring a lot to the table. And also, this is what age I am. This is what I look like.
Right.
Like if you don't know that you want that look for it. And sometimes I know there's a pool of people and I'm always a great option. And for the past few years for me, it's been people know they can get me to read for it. And I know I'm going to go read and end up on a tape.
Mm-hmm.
Very lucky to have the opportunity. Very lucky to be maybe one. I'm assuming if I'm going in at that level that I'm one of, let's say, under 10 people choices. That's a great position to be in. But I just was in this rut, and I also started to really resent when I knew that things were political.
Yeah.
When I knew that they were out to somebody else for the part. When I knew that you're having me read all 15 pages, like you're not focused.
Well, I think you're talking about feeling valued, and I think you said drive across town. That is part of it. That is that thing where you're like I was just in a movie. I was just in 2 movies, and you can kind of see my acting or whatever. I don't have the biggest track record, but to ask me to drive across town at 5:00 on a Friday, which will take 3 hours total, just to have me read a small line for a part that I'm not going to get because I'm going to lose it to a person of color or a man, which happens to me a lot with comedy. They're like, let's go diverse because the part.
I would say that's
not,
exactly right.
And I feel like it's really hard for people to hear that because they're like, oh, so racist. You're like, no. I will never play the black girl. So if you're going to go black, I've lost that part. But if it's an option for diversity.
You figure out what you want.
Yeah, if it's an option for diversity, people are always going to go diverse. And it's like, that's totally cool. But please don't. That's so much time and hope out of my life when really you're just going to give this to like Adam Devine. I lost a part to him one time. And so it is that versus, if they want you to throw yourself on tape or have a conversation.
And weirdly, that logic of like, we might want Adam Devine or Eliza, we want to see them read it. There is something creative to that. But on the other hand, it's like total bullshit. It's like, if you know you want me for this, I just lost my train of thought.
If you know you want me for this, then want me. I think what you're upset about is, and after doing it all those years, like I'd be livid if someone was like, we want you for a stand-up show. Can you send a tape? I'd be like, you can go fuck yourself. I think it's so funny. I was talking to my husband or my assistant. Where's the line? Where's the line blurred on that one? Today about how casting to me feels always like this last minute thing. Like it takes years to put together a script, write a script, polish it, get people attached. And I'll get this thing at like 6:00 on a Thursday, like 9 a.m. Friday, read. I'm like, can I go in at noon? No, they're not seeing anyone then. I'm like, what if the person you need is out of town? Sorry, you missed out. And I'm like, that's the part we just roll the dice on.
Yes. And that's part of it. You have to be ready to drop everything to go there.
And that is part of the game, but I do think what you're saying is for the roles that you're reading, like, look, if somebody wanted you to read opposite Jennifer Lawrence for a movie, you're like, fine, I will put myself on tape. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a game to it. And there's like a heat thing to it. And it's like, I'm done doing that and pretending that it's not that.
And also I think for comedy roles, you're like, I know these people, I know the writers, I know the directors, you know what I can do. Why not just, you're like, why not just give me that role?
I think I've been mentally and emotionally for the past few years, especially putting myself like, I just want a job. I'm going to be a good worker. And again, I'm probably better now than I was. And it just doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. And there's so many things that factor into it. And I don't want to be a part of a process that's either political or just serving people that don't really know what they want. Now cut to me like casting my own show and being like, I just don't see it. But I mean, I
think you just got a little fed up.
Yeah.
I also, as a performer, I get angry when the writing isn't respectful. I don't like when I audition for something and there's grammatical errors, not even a typo, or the beat, it doesn't beat out properly there is a timing and a math to comedy. So if you use the same word in a sentence 3 times, like sometimes it reads weird, or sometimes they write it. I'm like, did you not say this out loud? Because no one actually speaks this way. And as a comic, I'm like, you're hiring me to be funny, but I don't know how much you want me to improvise. These lines aren't funny. This wasn't written respectfully. This was written, the woman was an afterthought. Or it's always like, she's bold, but a soft side. And I'm like, give me a fucking break.
Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, well, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Eliza50 and use code Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Eliza50 at factormeals.com/Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Eliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Eliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Eliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Eliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Eliza. So it is frustrating because you're like, okay, so I'm at the mercy of this shitty writer who shouldn't have been given a chance through somehow, like some weird thing, they got this. And now I'm pissed that at this age, I got to drive across town and like be at the mercy of that.
But like the win of that is if you go in for that and do your own thing, then it gets tailored to you. But
yeah.
The other part of that is you see me talk, you see how I talk, you see my vibe, like you...
Also, like, how much of my own thing do you want? You know,
Right.
they're coming in and be like, I'm a cowboy. This is my weird voice. And they're like, oh, we didn't want that at all. I think they just never know. I always lose to a name. And to me, it's always like this catch-22. It's like, well, I can't become a name if I don't get parts, but I can't get parts unless you're a name. It's good for, I'm sorry that you're upset, but I like seeing that everybody else feels this way too. Because I thought it was just
and
me.
that was part of the response like I got from strangers that I just looked at their icon of like a beautiful actress, like way younger than me, and I was like, sending you my mojo, please go do it for another 15 years. And again, I recognize it's just me, my personal situation. It just took a lot of time and energy to be like, let me drop everything and go to do your thing. Like,
Well,
I just
also
can't do it anymore. And by the way, it was very upsetting for me that day. Like, it was a monumental watershed moment
what happened?
for me.
What was what happened that day? What was that straw that broke the camel's back?
It was a part that was fine of a harried mom, and I just kind of knew I wasn't going to get it. And I think it was so much time I had spent making because it's like you have to strip away. I always have a bad attitude. I never want to leave the house. So the work for me is to get to that place where I'm like, hey, I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
And so it's stripping that away so that I can be free to go in there and be vulnerable and be like, it's totally cool that I just took all this out of my life to come here.
4
I'm just
hours.
great for it. So I think that the process of doing that was getting to its tipping point for me. And then on this particular day, it was a part that was fine. And honestly, I needed to work. I needed money. I would have enjoyed it, but I also knew that it was something that wasn't creatively challenging for me in any way. But I would find stuff in there that I could do to make it fun for myself because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got there, it was just like the Fox lot, which I heard later.
The worst lot.
Well, there's something going on there, I think, because
It's a merger.
Yeah, the merger,
But
which
it's
is
still the lot itself shouldn't be affected. It's the worst lot.
So I go, and it's this industrial park where they give you a map to where you're supposed to park, but even the map I can't because it's just all buildings, which you don't see the number until you're past them. And of course, I go into the wrong garage. Lost in the garage, get spit out onto the street, going the perimeter of the building to then go in and find the guy and go, is this the right garage?
Yeah.
I've been driving around for so long, this must be it. He's like, no, drive out, pay $20 to get out. I think I had to pay to get out of the garage. By that time, I was late.
Oh my God.
I started crying, but they were primordial tears that weren't just about that.
It was everything.
It was the whole buildup of that. But it was kind of exciting because you know how when you cry those type of tears, and I was like, oh, I think I'm done doing this. And then I had like the sadness of like, this has been such a great thing for me for so many years. This has been something that's really has worked for me. And it's just not working anymore. And then I was crying because I was letting that go. And I was walking and I was like doing it. And how often do you cry like that
What a
in
breakdown.
public? And a guy was walking towards me in a suit and he totally was like, are you okay? Like it was one of those.
I thought he was going to be like, do you want a part in a movie? That's what should
now
happen.
I have a movie.
So you're done auditioning.
Yes.
I love it.
I do too. I'm very happy.
So it's offer only for Lynn Rajskub.
No, I don't. I mean, that sounds. There are situations and circumstances.
Sure.
I don't expect to be handed jobs.
No, but for your bullshit part,
I'm not going to go and do all this stuff. And I realize I am shooting myself in the foot, but also I feel great about it. It's forcing me to focus on other things, which I've been avoiding focusing on anyway.
do you know that while I'm not there for acting, because I always feel guilty. I'm like, fine, I'll put myself on tape. Usually I can just do the tape thing. I think we all get to a certain place where you're like, yes, the bullshit is necessary because clearly we're not where we want to be yet. But I think giving yourself permission to have a break, and maybe you'll come back to putting yourself on tape, but giving yourself that break, for years, for over a decade, every night I was at the Comedy Store. And it became this thing where I was just like, gotta go, gotta show up, gotta show that I'm the girl in the lineup, I'm doing this. And on occasion, there's other women there, but I'm like, and I've always been there. And, there's other guys that always put in. And I want to be like, look, I'm there too.
Right.
I'm fucking it up just like you are. And as of the last couple months, like I was on tour, I was on the road a lot, and I was like, I don't care. I don't care if it's an all-male lineup. I don't care if I don't call in.
I saw you the past few days, three spots at the Comedy Store.
At the store.
On your IG.
But not, like I didn't go last night. I'm not
understand.
going tonight because it used to be every night. And I was just like, I don't need to prove this. I don't need to prove it to anyone. That's cool that, like, you're going to have this killer lineup with, like, Marin and Rogan and D'Elia, and it's great to be right in the middle of that, but I can't be there every night. And I really looked at it. I'm like, they're not there every night. So this thing as a girl where you have to work 2 times as hard just to be seen half the time. And I was like, you know what? I will go make my money on the road, and I love the store and it's there, but it's a young person's game, and I don't need to go every night. It was such a staple for me. It was the
It's
one
so
constant.
interesting to me that you even now still are like have that
Oh yeah.
compulsion to be like, I should be there every night.
It's wearing down a little bit, but like
Yeah.
I have no guilt. I used to have to like call another friend of mine and be like, it's cool if I cancel the spot, right? It's not like we talk, like we give each other permission.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, cancel it. Fuck it. Exhausted. People will be like, do you want to do my show? I'm like, not at all. And the more you take yourself out of the equation, the more people start to want you. But yeah, I'm not going on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock anywhere.
No. Good for you.
Yeah. I gotta
You're
be
carving it out. You got your own
carving out that space,
your
and now I
own-
can breathe.
way of doing things.
It's my own way.
You're living the dream.
This is the dream. It's a quasi nightmare. But we've got questions for you, Marilyn.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So some of these are very. I'm gonna
I
get out.
feel good, but a little self-conscious for talking about the auditioning thing so much.
I don't think you came. I don't think we won't. This is not like a gotcha podcast, so it's not going to be. You're not going to see some.
It's a lot of like processing, and I feel like
Sure.
a lot of stuff I say is like, oh, it's so like.
You know what? I'm tired because I know why. Because you said the word diversity, and you're like afraid people are going to think you're racist. It has nothing to do with that. And as a society, we need to be able to compartmentalize.
I'm glad stuff like that's happening. I just want to have a job as well.
Sure. She's not the one. This is not about. Has nothing to do with race. This was a whole bunch of things. And if you're not an actor, then quite frankly, step off because you don't understand.
But also that I'm talking so much about it, and people are like, "Oh, what a bitch! Like she's lucky to have auditions at all."
No.
Like who does she think she
Because
is?
a lot of people get auditions. And it's not lucky. You've gotten these auditions from years of doing the work. You didn't show up yesterday and you're like, whatever, get me auditions. This idea, and as women, we have to always, and you even mentioned it, like, say that I'm grateful because we're afraid other women will be like, why aren't you being grateful? Fuck that. I did all this work while some other people, the last 10 years, while you were figuring out what you wanted to do, I was dying on stage with the flu. I was selling my own t-shirts out of a fucking duffel bag. I was clawing a career out of nothing. Luck's got nothing to do with it. I have a career by virtue of the fact that people weren't paying attention enough to me to tell me to quit. So the idea of grateful, like this fell out of nowhere, like you didn't scrape your way to this from like piecing together gigs. You can be grateful that you exist, but I don't think that's the right thing. And accusing women of not being grateful enough, I think it's just a way for lesser people to attack you.
There's another aspect to it that I know I'm sidetracking. We're about to get to questions, but that as you were talking,
Sorry, that was so angry.
part of the acting thing for me, again personally, is that it's been the carrot that's been dangled away from me doing. In other words, it's like, oh, now you don't have to sit down in front of a computer and write because you get to someone. You're putting the luck on someone else, or you're putting. What am I trying to say? Someone's giving you something in their thing rather than me doing my own.
Right,
And
it's a little bit less work.
That's the mechanism that I needed to break after all these years as a fully grown.
So maybe you should need to start writing your own stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a big proponent of writing your own stuff.
it's like the lottery ticket mentality.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, I got an acting job. Oh, it's going to save me. And that's the
It
thing.
never has.
That's the biggest thing
Right.
that is, I'm taking that away.
Because you look at other people and it's like they got that one thing and now it's a whole thing. I think we all look at people like that, but other people look at you like, wow, she's been on 24 and Arrested Development. Like, who gets to do that, you know?
Pretty awesome.
But it is awesome, but it's also like you're allowed, just because you're upset about something and other people have something more upsetting to be upset about, doesn't take away from the fact that you're upset and that's your experience. And that's it. I mean, I love a good pity party. Emily can tell you she's the only one invited. I throw pity parties for myself
She's the only one invited.
all the time. And I always pity myself and I see myself
You
as,
do?
Oh, I love a good pity party. And but you don't share
I
it.
see you as such a like powerhouse
I
of
know.
like building this. You built
I
it and
appreciate
they
that.
came and
Oh.
you're massive and powerful and
Thank you.
strong and
I love that.
delightful.
Thank you for
kind.
for those last two superlatives. I see myself as a small hamster on a soapbox trying to hand out pamphlets to the show, and nobody wants a pamphlet to my rat show. All right, but this is about you. But I'm so glad that thank you for those kind words, and I see you and I hear you.
don't have to go out on a Sunday night. No, you don't.
Fuck that. What do I look like? A 24-year-old single male comic? No. Got to stay home. I got to eat oatmeal. So we've got regular questions, but then, a lot of people are fans of yours, and a lot of people wrote in with very specific questions. So I'm going to do a couple of those because we want to feed
What if
the
the
fans.
first question is like, why aren't you auditioning anymore? I'm kidding.
Why don't we see you anymore in Santa Monica? Emily Tully, oh my God, this is amazing. Mary Lynn, 24 is my favorite. With today's political climate, do you ever feel like we're living in an episode of 24? Well, and then what was the coolest thing you got to do while filming? Maybe a certain place you got to travel, a cool stunt you got to learn. Love you and Eliza so much. You don't have to answer the political part unless you have an actual feeling about that.
I mean, when the show was on, I did feel like the writers tried to echo some real life situations, but it was always like super heightened, and in that sense,
Super heightened.
Yeah, in that sense, it's like, no, I don't agree with like, the black and white of the bad guys, and here's the one good guy that's going to solve it. I mean, there was more to the show than that, but that's the thing that like fueled it, was this like, the hero is going to come save us. So,
did you get to do anything cool while filming?
I got to do a lot of cool things. I got to shoot a gun, an automatic weapon, an AK, what's that one?
47?
Yep, an AK-47. And that was surprising to me because the gun handler was so respectful and chill.
Yeah.
And I was
Someone's
like,
got to be.
right?
Yeah.
And but his way of viewing it was like, yeah, you need to know everything about, like, he was very studied and very measured. And I had a lot of respect for that. And it was super fun.
The gun handler is always, I just did something with a gun, and like they treat it like a baby, and they always point it down range. Like, they're so professional. Because if they're not, then we will absolutely accidentally shoot someone.
Yes.
They're very serious. Amber Jo Marie says, what was your fondest, funniest memory from your time on Arrested Development? P.S. Eliza, you're my hero. Love the podcast so much. To read the full thing.
That was just a great atmosphere because it's so hilarious in such a unique way. I was later to that show. But
you were in a recent season.
A recent season.
Yeah.
I think they just did, they're doing a new one. I was in the one before that, and
you didn't talk, right? Because I remember seeing you.
Correct.
I might have even tweeted at you.
Well, I worked with Jeffrey Tambor on the Larry Sanders Show, so
Yeah.
that was cool too. I didn't talk, but what was it? He reads my mind.
It was something. It was like a cult or something.
I don't even
like
remember my own character, but he had to know what I was saying, so he had to do his lines and my lines, and I got to just react and be really like prayerful and spiritual, and that was a fun position for me to be in.
What a different muscle.
Usually, I'm like the jacked up, weirdo, so it was nice to be like, I don't speak, and then watch Jeffrey Tambor interpret it. So do like double the acting. So that was really fun.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky, stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi Whole Body Deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code ELIZA for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code ELIZA at LumiDeodorant.com.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd. streaming on Hulu.
Which brings us to the next question. John Humes. Mary Lynn, Gail the Snail is one of my favorite It's Always Sunny characters. How was she described to you when you got the part? And I think he means like when you read for it. And was it a little freeing getting out to act so repulsive and to not risk being judged on a personal level?
You're really hitting on the truth of this character.
Go on.
Listen, the characters on that show are depraved, and Gail the Snail is their cousin they're gross, is the conceit of the show. I had to be even grosser than them. And let me just tell you, I was too adorable on set. Like when we read through it, they're like, you're still too likable. But it was such a great process because I didn't want to like fully form the character. I like to figure it out as I'm doing it because for me, I feel too sketchy if I'm like, this is how I'm going to do the character.
Right.
I just would never do that.
Yeah.
So I like to feel out what the situation is, even though I knew the show and knew the characters. But, my first one was the scene with Danny DeVito, and they're like, oh, you
the hand
still...
job one?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, we were in the rest.
Different scene.
Something like it, one of those scenes. But I love that you know that. But we sort of together just did stuff that would make us laugh. And then some of the wardrobe was too over the top. So it was finding that like she's just off.
Just gross enough.
But I did go inside and find my own disgusting behavior. And that was definitely the funnest. Like, that's my most favorite character.
And because it's not like an Indiana Jones where it's like, this is what you're known for. No one thinks you're that. Like when you're an actor and you play like this seminal role, people think you're that. And because you've had so many different roles, like he was saying, like you could be gross and no one's gonna be like, oh, Marilyn's probably gross.
It's my favorite to be that gross. One of the outtakes, I was like humping a pillow, and I think they were on my ass, and they're like, I think I like pulled my pants down and humped a pillow for comedy.
Yeah.
If it was something real for like a sex scene, I'd be like, let me get that in my contract. But I'm like, yeah, man, I'm totally gonna hump this pillow right now.
It's
like
gross, right, guys? Wait, why is everyone rock hard? Sam _Sid _ Catsat Play. Marilyn, what kind of work do you prefer? A comedy movie, TV, drama, or stand-up? You are so multi-talented. How do you go about choosing your work? Eliza, you've also experience with TV and movies. Stand-up, what do you prefer? Why? You can answer that, Marilyn.
Well, you answer. You just did a couple of big movies. What did you think?
I don't think it's a preference. I think they're different muscles.
Absolutely.
And so it's not... And, a couple lines in a movie is not the same as memorizing an hour and 15 of your own stand-up.
Yeah.
So, in TV, I have very limited experience.
When you were on the set of your movie, can you talk about what
Wonderland?
Specific movie that you just did?
Wonderland?
Is it Wonderland?
I'm wearing a hat for.
Okay, so you're on Wonderland, and were you... What was going when you were on set? Were you like, I'm bored? Were you nervous? Were you like...
Okay, it's just different.
Was it what you expected?
It's like when I did Instant Family, my character didn't speak a lot. It was a lot of reacting, and it was great because not unlike your silent character, I just had to look bitchy and watch all these amazing actors act. So I really appreciated the break. Stand-up, you're always singing for your supper. I would love to get invited to an event where I'm just an attendee and I present an award and not have to fucking keep earning it. And so what's cool about movies is that it's obviously written for you to make funny. The Wonderland movie, Peter Berg is awesome, and he's crazy, and he's fun, and I was terrified of fucking up the whole time.
Okay.
Because all my scenes are with Mark Wahlberg, and there's no one preps you for that. And, like, all the acting work I did, like I hired a coach, all those lines got thrown out, and I actually ended up writing a lot of the lines.
Ooh, love it.
But
How
it's
exciting.
The whole time you're like, it's almost like I went right from middle school to college, and like I skipped high school and I skipped all the study skills. So I'm just there like hoping to remember to react and emote and be funny. And,
I love it.
And look
How
thin.
Exciting.
But that's my answer. It's all a different muscle. I don't prefer one over the other.
Yes.
Stand up to me like I do in my sleep, and it's like second nature. And movies are movies, right?
Yeah.
Don't you feel this way?
Well, I mean, I've only recently in the past few years really focused on stand-up. But now when I dip back to having an acting job, it's like, oh, like there's where the coffee is. And
so acting is more comfortable, like is more second nature.
Yes.
Because you've been
but
on so many things.
I've also get this little twinge of like, well, I'm not in control. And I'm not saying what I want to say. Because it's so fun to be doing your own thing. That's such a rich, crazy place to be in. You're singing for your supper, but you're also
totally in control of that supper.
Can do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Also, like, it's weird. Like, stand up, you leave, like, when I was shooting Instant Family, like I was on tour. So I would walk off stage from performing for like several thousand people, get on a plane, and I don't even have my own trailer. Or I did have a trailer, but like you're like 10th on the call sheet, you don't matter.
Interesting.
You're like, I mattered so much last night to all these people in New Jersey, and here it's like, move out of the way, Mrs. Spencer's coming through. So it's like this weird thing where you're like shifting, going in and out of worlds. And
This is exciting.
it's exciting. But so it's interesting because for you, the being on set is
Do you
the
feel
more
like you want to
comfortable
be a bigger movie star?
I'd like to be a bigger movie star. I'd love to be an action star, like a comedy action
Yes.
star. That being said, being on set, bring a fucking book.
Yeah.
'Cause it is a lot. It takes a couple times. I'm still like, you're probably over it, but like to be prepared for the monotony.
Yes.
And true actors, I see them,
Well, I was talking to somebody about, with my whole quitting auditioning and stuff like that, about getting into directing, which I actually think I could do. I think I could do well. I'm just scared. Well, two things. I'm scared because I just need to learn how to do it. But the other thing is I was like, oh shit, like the director has to pay attention to every single
so
thing.
much attention.
And as an actor, you just like zone out and then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, time to go. And then it's very jarring because you're just thrown into it
Like,
after you're zoning out.
Emote now.
And I bet
Yeah.
like directing would be very gratifying, but it's also like, oh, I have to be invested in every single shot of everything. That
Every
would
shot,
be-
every intention. Sometimes when I watch movies, I'm like, how can I tell how they directed this? Because if the actor's good enough, like I'm not going to correct them. That's why I think, and people should know this, people always get these like celebrity directors for their stand-up specials. And I'm like, they're not directing you. It's a technical director. Like, oh, I got this. Who fucking cares?
That's
No matter, I would
hilarious.
never let someone be like, why don't you tell your joke differently? I'd be like, what? So, but the directing thing, in the scene, I get frustrated when like I see something that's wrong and the director doesn't see it because you don't want to step on anyone's toes.
What did
So-
you see that was wrong?
I did a scene recently where the room was wrong. The setup of the room was wrong. It didn't go with the character. I think a lot of times when a woman is in a screenplay, but it's not about a woman, she's kind of an afterthought. And the way the room looked, I was like, her room wouldn't look like this. It just wouldn't. But
Interesting.
you want to be able
What
to
did it look like?
I don't want to say it because I don't want to.
Okay.
It was something
You
that we
don't wanna
shot.
get too specific.
Yeah, something that we shot here in LA. But it's
What
like,
do you think women's rooms are like? I'm going to get it out of you going in that direction.
No, because it was a specific character. And it's that thing where you're like, I want to give my feedback. I know they want to hear it because they've hired me, but you don't. And then there's like the director ego. where you
Right,
can't,
right. But then you're like, then again, it's not my thing.
I want to be like, just
not
so
my
I know,
department.
had I directed this would have been done properly. Thanks so much. But then you're like, yeah, but they have to be up at 6, looking at every shot, watching those dailies. So it is a lot of paying attention. So I don't know. Kim F by C. I'm a college professor, media/comm studies.
Okay, brag much?
Right?
Like, kidding.
Get over yourself. I teach students public speaking, and I'm wondering what advice you have as someone who's always performing in front of people. I think I give great advice because my job is 30% stand-up, but I think they would think your advice is cooler. You got any advice? What's the advice?
I want to defer to you on that one, but I will
I don't
speak.
understand the question.
I know this question is very strange. The thing about
She just
stand-up,
she just wants us to know that she's performing.
yeah, exactly. She wants us to know she's a professor and she's funny and she does stand-up.
Give me a passing grade.
Would you like to open for one of us? I'm going to speak for Eliza. You have a job as a...
As long as I don't have to fly
What's
you.
she a professor of, does it say?
Yeah, media and comm studies.
Oh, okay.
She teaches public speaking. Do you have any advice for public speaking, I guess?
I mean, I got into performing out of a need to express myself because I was dying inside. So I was like,
Yeah.
throwing myself on stage has forced me to speak. I don't think that's a good way to go about it.
It's a way.
It is a way. And still to this day, I'm always fighting my inner, like I had a couple sets. I took the weekend off and then I
Nice.
went out for a couple sets. And my default is to be downtrodden and inner and give up. Like I'll be saying my thing. I'll be like, no.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons I admire you because you have this engine.
Oh,
And that's what I'm working on is
thank
like,
you.
I have to have the inner belief to push it forward. And that's one of the things that like stand-up is teaching me. I would say a few years ago, it was like just to be aggressive in general because I would go on stage and be like, oh, what do you think? And just so like letting the audience
Yeah.
in and like having, you can have a real conversation, but it took me a long time to figure out how to be like, oh, no, you're in control. Like you're speaking the entire time, fool.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
For me, it comes from a deep-seated understanding that I am smarter than most people I'm talking
love
to.
it.
And also this, people always get into like, as a woman, it's never crossed my mind that a woman is not as funny as a man. My mom was funny. The women I watched on TV were funny. I was always funny. So this whole like new feminist thing where it's like, how do you give yourself permission? I'm like, I've never let a guy speak over me. I've always run with the boy. It's never occurred to me that I'm less than.
I love that.
So the idea that we should inculcate women with that, and I feel bad for women who have been taught that because I don't know how you unlearn that, but I've always been like, I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm better than you.
I love that we took that answer to like a deeper, because as you're talking, I'm like, are we supposed to give tips of like
the back of the room? Yeah.
Open your mouth.
Yeah, I don't know. Also,
picture everybody naked.
Gross.
Like I love like your answer and my answer so much.
Like
better
know that
than
what you have to.
the
Also,
technical.
people want you to do well. They also want you to crash and burn. Why do we have such an obsession with people getting into public speaking? Like, not everybody. Like, you think biotech guys?
Yeah, but that's the way the world's going.
You know what? Hire
300
someone.
is like 300% is it's increasing. If you don't think we film ourselves, like that's just the way.
Not everybody. You know what?
No,
Less
yeah, I
people.
agree with you.
Don't say something. Don't put yourself on.
I have a
on your
quick
channel.
technical question. I have a feeling you're going to say no. I talked to some woman about. She said she studied someone else of how she wanted to move. Did you ever adjust? No, never.
I mean, like,
did you ever go like, I'm going to stand this way and put my arm there, or I want to be more like that person?
Not I want to be more. I think I absorb things. There's one other comic who I know that I have a hand gesture similar to. I like a graceful movement, like a ballerina. So there are things that I've absorbed, and there are sounds and voices just from watching other funny
things
people.
that you like and you're drawn to.
But I've never been like, I want to act like that person. I've never like imitated someone else. That's just never. That's not me.
Solid.
Stefan_NJ says, does Marilyn remember eating Japanese candy with you on your last podcast many years back?
Of course I do. It wasn't that long ago. I
No,
guess
it wasn't.
was.
It was. What was it, Emily? Because it was before you worked for me. So it was like 4 years ago?
It was
Was there ever a time
4 years at the Laugh
before
Factory.
you guys were
yeah.
together?
I can't remember.
It was 4 or 5 years.
Like in my mind, you were there at my high school graduation, Emily.
No, but it was 4 or 5 years. It's been a while.
Okay. Anani Mouse says, hi, I hope you're having a great day. I recently got rejected for a job that I desperately wanted. I know I would have been perfect for the position. I just bombed the interview. They only take one intern every 2 years, so I'm gutted. How do you deal with professional rejection? Marilyn, throw it over to you.
You know, what's funny is I listened to your podcast with Heather McDonald, and there was a similar, and she was saying the old, if it's not meant for you, if it does, but that's hard to take when you're rejected and you want something that doesn't really help. But
That's a very 30,000 feet looking down perspective. It's a very like whole spiritual perspective. When you're in it, you're
practically,
like, fuck
how do you deal with it? You just make yourself feel better and don't focus on that. But I understand what she's saying. There's only 2 slots, and she wants one of those slots. That's a really tough one, because you can't just be like, try again, because it just
every 2 years you'll be too
sucks.
old. Also, I think, I mean, for like acting roles, like we've already learned like not to get too attached. Like you're attached to it in the moment, and then I forget about it and I don't get it anyway. I think you sit yourself down, because I know when I've like what did I fuck up recently? Oh gosh, I think about this often. I fucked up something recently with the way I was speaking to someone, and I know, was it an interview? Was it an audition? I don't know. But I sat myself down and I was like, we're not going to let that happen again.
Oh, interesting.
If I can control it. Like, who was I talking to?
Did you do something you regretted, or you just didn't like?
I feel like I was speaking to someone, or I was in a meeting and I just, like, I kind of wasn't on task. Like, I just kind of, like, mentally let it get away from me. And in an audition recently, the only time in my life I've ever been given the note, can you give more energy? Because I'm always being told to slow down. And I think that day, like, it was a schlep across town. I was just really tired from something the night before, and it wasn't clicking. And I sat myself down. I was like, you're not going to put that much effort into something and not show up to play again. Like, that's never happening again. You can lose the audition, but it won't be because of a reason like that.
She made it sound, though, that it wasn't her, that there wasn't any more prep. There's just
She bombed
slots.
the interview.
Oh, she did?
She said I bombed the interview.
Oh.
So since you know you bombed the interview and it's like a slow car crash and you're watching it happen, you just decide that's never going to happen again.
Whoa,
And
you're
you leave it
hardcore. I like it.
You leave it on the court.
But then what do you, should she
That way
just
when they
go
go
on
diverse.
more but like what if it happens again? Like that sounds like stage fright or does she need to go on a bunch of interviews to be better at it?
Maybe, but also you won't be interviewing for intern positions that much longer.
Right.
You know, also like they're probably, I got to imagine the position for interviewing an intern versus an employee is different. Like an intern is like, is this person cool?
I'm going to take a different position. You're
Okay.
saying that will never happen again, which I love. It's so hard
'Cause
ass.
you can only
and, like, make
intern
it happen.
for so
I say
long.
to my tactic has been like, I'm just not going to do that.
That internship?
Yeah, I'm like, I tanked the interview. Guess I'm not good at interviews. I'm going to do something else
Maybe.
that I enjoy.
Maybe you're not good at interviews, but I'm saying like you can only be young enough to do internships for so long.
Right.
Then you're that weird like 40-year-old intern.
Right. do,
That's
do not be a 40-year-old intern.
Which,
Is
by the
also
way,
what we're saying.
I read for the movie The Intern, which is the part I lost to Adam Devine, which was like the Robert De Niro Anne Hathaway movie.
Never heard of it.
Adam Devine.
Hiya.
Also, I always find funny, look to your friends because every time I lose something, which is often that I wanted, that I had my sights set on, and then you hear what your friends, like the shitty things they have to say. They're like, you didn't want that movie. It's a garbage director. He's a fucking rapist. You're like, why did you let me go out for this? Like, you don't want that role. It's at a stupid show on a dumb network. I'm like, we set up this interview. You had me meet with the president of the network. What do you mean you don't want me? And I still didn't get
It's
it.
like when you break up with someone, they're like, I fucking hated him.
Hated him. Hated. You know what? Your brother is a piece of shit. He's cheating on his girlfriend. Was Simdingendry. CM.
Keep trying.
Comdinterdy. Reading has gotten so hard. What is one of your biggest yet simplest pet peeves / hot buttons / what's your favorite way to decompress and have me time? And maybe the last person, anonymous, can learn from this, the me time thing. But let's talk about pet peeves and hot buttons.
Hot
don't say traffic.
buttons and pet peeves.
With Mary Lynn and Eliza. Like in conversation, is it? Do you want me to kick it off? Because
Yeah, kick it off.
Like I don't like hearing people's. This is not having like stories about traffic, like specific ones.
I know. I can't believe we started about that.
We were so fired up, or like dreams. Like I don't want to hear your fucking dream.
Yeah. As soon as I started talking about traffic, I was like, why? Although I did need to get it out. It felt good.
Yeah, you did. I'll just keep rattling that way, like I can inspire you, and then
Okay.
just cut me off and you don't have to listen to these. That I don't like when people turn around quickly and walk right into you. I just had a guy at Creation Juice who was standing, leaning on the door, and I opened that door deliberately. Like you can't lean on the fucking door. I can't stand people going.
I hate when pedestrians tell my car to go.
Oh,
Go ahead. Oh, really?
Oh, thanks.
You're going to tell my just under a ton piece of metal where I can take it.
Also, you have the right of way. You fucking go, because guess what? If there's an accident, I'm the one in trouble.
Hello.
And this is, people aren't going to like this because, like, as a privileged person, you can't say the phrase homeless person. I don't like when homeless people direct traffic. I don't need your help. This is a liability. Get out of traffic. You're not equipped to direct traffic. What are you looking
Yeah,
at?
I was just thinking I need to see gloves and a whistle, or I'm not following
And they
orders.
can't be dirty because
Yeah.
I'll know you stole them.
Dirty's fine. I don't care, but
It means they're not.
Dirty gloves. He'll obey the dirty gloves.
Yeah, I just
Yesterday
need a
I saw a
glove.
guy. This was on Burbank Boulevard in the Valley.
Get specific.
Getting real specific because I need you to know there was not he was sitting on the curb and his feet were in the street like he was relaxing.
No!
But it was almost like he had a death wish, but his demeanor was
Yes.
like, I don't give an F. And it's like, dude, you're bringing me into your death wish
Mhm.
and that's not cool.
Oh,
Your legs are in the road
He
right
wants
now.
you to hit them so he can
Yes.
sue you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or he is in such a bad place that he just doesn't care that his legs are in the but he wants you to know. There's an ego involved in it. I'm not saying like that is very sad, but
No, it's when you're. Do we have a responsibility to take care of people in society? Yes, but when your issues become someone else's problem in that way, like you're just a regular person driving, and this person is doing something dangerous and illegal, and that could actually wreck your life. You
Yes.
swerve to hit him, you hit someone else.
legs in the road. I was like, wow.
That's
this
not cool.
guy's bad. I hate when you're at Starbucks and they
So
wait.
many start with at Starbucks.
Yeah, right? They wait. This is such a like small, subtle thing,
Go
but
on.
you're at the milk or the sugar or a napkin and they're just like, I'm going to politely, like, just reach in and grab your thing.
Just grab it.
And don't say you're sorry. Just get your thing. Because now you waiting for me is making me...
Stressing me out.
You're in my space. You're stressing me out. Like, just get your fucking thing.
Conversely, I don't like it when you're in like a high population situation, like you're at a party or you're like where there's a lot of people, there's just like a large group, and there's always that person like, I'm just gonna sneak by you. I'm just gonna, all you hear is the S, like, I'm just gonna sneak by. I'm like, just fucking wait. I'm going. Always, I had a friend once. I will never get over this. We were at my house and we were all on the floor doing like an art project or something. And it was me and a boyfriend, and I included her because I'm the kind of friend that like always feels bad. Like it was like a holiday and she was alone, so I included her. She kept fucking getting up and stepping over me. And she did it like 5 times. And I was like, get what you need and sit down. Stop. Scott, I'm just going to sneak by. You got to have diarrhea. Like, what is it? Just sit the fuck down.
Was she on drugs?
No.
She was uncomfortable.
It made me so
she
mad.
She was feeling cagey. She didn't know where to go. She didn't feel comfortable.
We're not friends, I think, because of that. Like, I never told her. That's why I don't call her.
She wasn't comfortable in her own body, in her space, in the room.
I gotta get to the kitchen. I just gotta get some water. Just to fill up like a whole glass of water. Fucking sit down, do the goddamn art project, and be glad I included you. I got a lot of pet peeves.
Eat some sprinkles if you're hungry, some sparkles, whatever.
Get
Eat
some sparkles
glitter.
down.
Yeah.
I think my pet peeves always have to do with like not being considerate of public space. Like I can't stand on an airplane, particularly in first class, when someone doesn't use their headphones. Like I don't want to hear your conference call. I don't want to hear your Candy Crush. Put your fucking kid, put some headphones on him.
How is anyone having a loud business conversation ever?
So many people. I had a woman the other day sitting in the plane. Her kid wasn't listening, no headphones, was just like on an iPad. And I finally was just like, can you put headphones on? And she goes, do you have any headphones? And I was like, we're in public. And then I planned a whole thing I was going to say to her when we landed, but we just got off the plane.
And she never got headphones?
No. Where the fuck do you get off letting
Yeah.
your kid, like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I'm all fired up now. Oh, and if you're a flight attendant and you have a loud conversation on a 6 a.m. flight, you're sent from hell. You're a bad person.
Yeah, the flight attendant thing is real interesting.
They're
Like, I don't
only-
envy that job, but it's like you have to have a certain personality. You can't be like,
Or had one when you started.
you're over it, or you just need to have a conversation. Like, reel it in,
Yeah.
focus. You can still talk and have a good time, but like, do your shit.
I almost
Have
100%.
some, what's the word? Not composure.
Decorum.
Decorum, thank you.
Now I'm all fired up, so we should get off this topic. What's your favorite way to decompress? Have
One more
me
hour
time.
of pet peeves.
I could honestly, I think that's
I
what my
enjoy
act
this
is.
so much because I'm so, my personality type, I'm so like, oh, I can't
Gotta get
say.
it out. I mean, you would think I'm the kind of person that like lets people know. I just kind of, because I'm
I hear
also
you.
not rude
Yeah.
to hold it in, but this
No,
morning,
I don't see, I wasn't thinking that.
people are always like, you're unfiltered. I'm like, there's a filter. I have an education and I have manners. I'm not just going to be like, fuck you, out of out. I
No.
never curse at people. This morning, I gave a guy a gesture in Beverly Hills, even though Emily had made a mistake. And then a cop was right behind us. And he, on his like intercom, he was like, gotta keep moving. You can't stop here. And like, we had totally stopped and we shouldn't have. But the guy honked so loud and he was being a dick. What's your favorite way to decompress and have me time?
Hey, I like a bath, you know?
You have a bath? Do you have a bathtub?
Yeah, I love a bath.
Is it like a mom bathtub? Like you got all the stuff?
A little bit. It could be a little bit more luxurious.
You do a
It has
great
jets, but they're dirty jets. But
gotta
you're going to
clean
say
those
I
jets.
do something
You do
great?
a great job because I follow you on, you always pop up on my Instagram, so I know about your cats. And I know your dog was having problems. Is the dog okay? Should I not even bring up the dog?
Oh, the big one? Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
She had a
I sent you a
wonderful
message
life, though.
about it.
You did. That was like a year ago.
Oh
She
my God, it was that long ago.
was, I know. She was
don't
the
talk
most stunning, beautiful creature. One of those dogs where,
Sorry.
Blanche, but
I do.
the dogs that like are like, hey, I have an
understand
older
you.
dog now. She's my firstborn.
That's your
She's
baby.
living longer because the one that passed was a larger breed.
Because we're using the organs of the ones that
We are
passed.
using blood infusion.
But I watch it. Well, it's also weird that like I don't know where you live. I don't really know you outside of show business, but like I know all about your life. I know the
it's
gigs you
weird.
do. I know the hotel rooms you stay in. So do like a billion other people. But you seem to do a really good job of like being pretty and balancing. Like you've got a real family and like
I have a real family.
a good looking husband. And you have these things and your career and you don't seem to be like losing your head. So that's really impressive.
I love it. My family drives me bonkers.
But you do stuff. Like
But
you're
I
not an
love it.
absentee mom. Like you take your kid to places. Like you do
it
stuff.
all.
You really do it
Yes,
all.
I do it all.
So how do you unwind?
I do a dog walk. I do a bath. I do a nap.
Ooh.
I do a lay down.
How is that
Sometimes I'll
different?
bake.
Yeah?
I made a carrot cake the other day. It's real random.
Cream cheese frosting?
Yes, the frosting was so heavy, so insane.
It's the best part.
You know what else I do as soon as I wake up, and this is sort of sad.
Mm.
I start doing housework.
It's not sad. Puttering around is very
I putter.
cathartic.
And it's because I have late nights doing stand up, but I'm always up in the morning. I forced myself to do it. And now if I have any extra time and I can sleep in, that feels wrong. I have to get up and putter.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did the dishes.
Yeah.
It's only 7 a.m.
Something.
It's kind of sad that my
No.
decompression is like housework.
No, because it's productive decompression. It's like an active recovery in a workout.
Ooh.
You know, like you're still moving, you're still doing stuff.
Yes. You're
I-
not falling into a depression. You are.
You're doing something.
Yeah.
If I could have, and this was yesterday, I spent 5 hours in my office.
Ooh.
I went from laying on the mat, closing my eyes, stretching my neck, paperwork, moved some papers around, did a little bit of work, but just getting to exist in my own brain.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, unfettered. Oof. What's this? What's the? All right. We'll go off. Would you say 10 minutes, Emily? Does pineapple belong on pizza? Carl F. wants to know.
He doesn't really want to know that.
He doesn't. He just wants to start a
He
fight.
wants to make a connection.
Oh.
He doesn't know what other question to ask.
By the
So
way-
he's asking some bullshit pizza question.
Therein lies the difference between you and I. You're like, he just wants to make a connection. Here's how he's. I'm like, you want to fight. You want to have a divisive issue, and you want to start a war. You know what? You're right. We're not going to answer that. Fuck you, Carl F.
I'm
You
gonna
heard it
answer
here.
ham
me
and
too.
pineapple. Yes. Weird that it's such a big rectangular chunk, though.
Ham and cheese belong together, so why not ham and cheese with pineapple? Pineapple and ham belong together.
It
But
is
pineapple and ham is
then
weird.
let's really take the question seriously. Whenever it was invented, the pineapple and ham, it was like probably a wacky idea,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just a thing that exists and always has,
And it's good.
and it's good.
Even with marinara sauce, it's good.
It's freaking good.
I think sometimes there are bad ones. Here's a real inside baseball question that I think your diehard fans are going to get. R.C. Schmidt 1 says, would you reunite Girls Guitar Club for occasional gigs if the possibility arose?
Ooh, that's a very carefully worded question.
Do you
Sure.
want to tell people what that is first?
This is a comedy band that I had with my old friend Karen Kilgariff from years ago.
Who's really funny.
She's so funny. Have you had her on the podcast?
We don't know each other, but I follow her on Twitter.
Her Twitter is off the charts. Years ago, she had learned 2 chords on the guitar, as you do,
Uh-huh.
and we hung out together all the time. And so she was like, "Oh, you hold a guitar. I'm going to teach you these 2 chords." And we stayed up all night singing and playing those 2 chords. It was
Okay.
like a Lucinda Williams song or something. Maybe it was 3 chords. The next day, of course, both being performers, we're like, we got to go play this song at a music open mic night.
Put it on its legs.
We go up and it's like the nerves of having to play music when we can barely play. We can't
Yeah.
play. We just started chattering and then that became an act because
Got
we were
it.
making jokes. So, we
So the answer is no.
but it was worded if the situation arose, then
And
I
it-
would say yes because I love Girls Guitar Club, but realistically the answer is no.
Okay, that's fair. Anna Katerina 87. Hi. As someone who also has an unusual first last name, it's Anja Katerina. So there you go. What's the most humorous or ridiculous attempt to pronounce it that you've had? Does it annoy you when people get it wrong? You have to repeat it 2 million times. Love you both. And baby arm. Bye.
Oh. Yeah, sometimes people just stop and it doesn't come out. Or that I have to phonetically say that it's Rajskub. It's just always annoying. I wish if I had known that I was going to get into this business, I would have changed it. But I
Yeah.
just was not that cool. I'm still not that cool to have the wherewithal to come up with like, Foxy Rainbow, that's my name.
That's me. I'm Native American. It's never humorous to answer your question. And because she's like, what's the most, it's never funny when people
No.
fuck over your namesake and your heritage.
Love you.
I also get bothered by, not bothered by, I see when people, folks, it's like anything.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We so take the opposite. I'm like, I'm sorry, my name's so hard to spell. And you're like, no, this is my namesake.
Here's what's wrong.
You say it. I have recently, though, I'm like, yeah, say my whole name. I'm going to make you say my name. It's I don't care for it. It's
It's rough. And when people stop, like if you're going to say, just say Rajskub, say Rajskub, just get it out.
Yeah, who
when
cares?
people stop, that's when like fear sets in and it gets butchered. People are like, Schlesinger, I'm going to say it. I'm like, just blurt it out. Even if you say Schlesinger, it's fine. And then they're like, Schlesinger. And then they're not even saying the letters in the right order. And making fun of it doesn't help. I got through all of high school. Not one person ever made fun of my name. College either. So we're through that part in life where it's like, oh, to make you insecure. So when you shit on it now, it just makes me think you didn't learn your phonetics properly in school and you're stupid. It doesn't make me feel bad. It makes me think you're dumb when you deliberately do it.
Or do you think people are trying to be cute? Like, oh, like throw it back to you?
It's also at this point, like, I get that I'm not the most famous, but, like, if you're having me on your show, like, you know who I am.
That is 1,000%
So say my
correct.
name. Unless it's, like, a morning show and I'm just there to, like, sell tickets, then I don't care. But then
They should still say your name.
They should say my name. And also, it's not, I don't want to have this be, it's up there with, like, tell us about Last Comic Standing. Like, I'm done. They're like, Schlesinger, how do you say it? And I'm like, it's Schlesinger. Oh, because I'm like, I don't care about your journey with my last name. This is boring. This is like meeting a British person and being like, you say lift, we say elevator. Like, who cares? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
Let's
I do.
go out on a bang.
Let's not go out on the last name. We got to have a real banger.
No, because I don't want to ask you more about pet peeves because that's a good one. Sia.Leah. That's cute. Is there anything leading up to your career that you would have done differently? I don't know what that means.
We don't know what that means.
I guess in general, that you would have done
Would you have
different.
approached trying to do what you do differently?
Here's the thing, at least for me, but that means I would have had a different path in the first place. So
Yeah.
I think I would have understood networking a little bit better versus thinking, haha, that like talent
That's
speaks
a
for
good
itself.
answer. That's a good answer. Yeah, it's a hard one to answer because of what you just said. The journey that and when we're at this point in our lives, it's like, oh, I got to this particular place because of everything that was before it.
Right.
I would have probably had a father or mother that was a producer or a director.
That's a great answer.
Or maybe a famous actor and I was their child. So I get a head start and people just assume, they just want me around because of my parent. And that way I would have already had a lot more money in the bank.
There you
I
go.
would solely be producing and I would have several projects that I had like back end on instead of like bursting into tears when I open a piece of paper about my pension. And I'm like, I have a pension because I have nothing else right now. I realize I've reverted to the way I was brought up, which is very working class. Like, let me just get in there. And like, I never learned how to give good game or negotiate or like
play the game.
Or put myself out there. Networking is a great word. I still to this day am like, it's not even I hope you like me. It's just a humble like I'm just supposed to have some job and like make my way. I'm trying to unearth that mentality.
Interesting.
I've made great strides, creatively and personally, but I still have that core thing that I haven't figured out.
Interesting.
But thank God I have a pension, so I think I'll be okay.
We're going to call the episode Let Me Just Get In There. Because to me, in saying like that is that blue collar. Aren't you from, is it Pittsburgh or like Baltimore?
Michigan, south of Detroit.
Michiganer. Let me just get in there. I just, in that moment, saw you or your father in some sort of worker outfit.
Yeah.
Just like there's a carburetor or something. Let me just get in there. Get it done. Like, go America.
Do what I have to do.
I love that. And I love having you. And thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And
we made it.
Well, I'm so excited the next time I see you because we will have bonded even more. Mm-hmm. And then I can like talk to you as another woman in comedy and be like, hey. And it's not just like a passing hi.
I know.
Like we're closer now.
We are closer now.
You've always been so nice to me though. All right, folks, it's time for America's favorite segment, Tape of the Keep.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
Marilyn Rajskub here on the hour, every hour with your top of the cob. Kick us off, Marilyn.
I love, at the top of my cob is a well-made salad that is served to me. My bottom of the cob is the same thing. I hate making a salad at home and having to, am I doing the bottom of the cob wrong?
No, this is great.
I don't like having to assemble it.
Yep.
I love when it's got all sorts of things, but when you buy all that stuff and you try to get it in your refrigerator and recreate it, it's always a disaster.
You like a well-assembled salad given to you.
Yes.
Do you like a chopped salad?
I love a chopped salad. Like, let's say it has like cabbage and sprouts. I don't like fruit in the salad. That's a bottom of the cob for me. Like,
okay.
F you. I don't need a candied pecan. I need a real good salad with stuff in it. You know, two different kind of cabbages. Put a garlic zest dressing that I wouldn't make myself.
Okay.
That is the best to me. And the worst is having to make it myself. Try to recreate that in my home. And knowing I'm not going to make my own dressing, and then I just have like a bottle of like lame ass,
like Lowry's dressing or something.
I've never agreed with something so much. That was great.
Yeah, he's just sitting there like
totally
up and down. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'll go in with you on that one. I'm never like pumped about a side salad.
Mm-hmm.
Like at a restaurant, like a real salad I'll get, but not like, oh, you have a choice of fruit or side salad. I'm like, what? Just some like balsamic vinaigrette on some leafy greens. My fork doesn't even go through the lettuce all the way. My top of the cob is chewing on my lip skin. I know we're supposed to exfoliate and have soft, suckable, kissable lips. I love chewing on that lip skin. I think part of that leads me to the bottom of the cob because I have like a TMJ issue.
Ooh.
And I found out because I was like, where did this come from? Because it happened, like started clicking a year ago. And my doctor said certain types of birth control lead, like the progesterone created or whatever in it could lead to TMJ. No. And I was like, that's so fucked. Like, oh, you don't want to have a baby on accident? Or you want to control your cystic acne, which is why I take it? Well, your jaw's going to click, maybe. However, had they told me that 5 years ago when I started taking it, I'd probably been like, whatever, that'll never happen. So just more reasons that being a woman and staying attractive are very difficult.
Bottom of the cob, TMJ.
Like below cob status. I can't.
Cobless.
Also, bottom of the cob, people telling me their TMJ advice.
Ooh.
Like, I'm doing it all. Oh, I'm an occupational. I don't know you. You could be lying. Just eat 2 pumpkins. I don't know. Anyways, that's my bottom of the cob. Marilyn Rajskub, thank you so much for being my guest.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. An honored guest. You gave a great episode. People can find you. They can talk to you at Marilyn Rajskub. So it's MaryLynnRaskjub.
Nope.
Oops.
Close.
R-A-J. Yeah, sorry. Whoops-a-daisy. At Marilyn, R-A-S-K-J. Wait, hold on. R-A-S, Ras.
No, that's where the J goes.
R-A-J. There we go. At Marilyn Rajskub. We're going to leave all that in. At Marylyn, L-Y-N-N, R-A-J-S-K-U-B.
My favorite.
And her website is MarilynMarilyn.com.
Yep.
And that's it. I think Instagram's like the main portal.
Yeah. I like some Instagram. I like it.
And if you want to check out her entire massive body of work, female comic says other female comic has massive body. Go to Wikipedia or Google and type in her name. And
check out my massive breasts while you're at it.
You're a delight. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Bye.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today and get free welcome coins you can spin for a chance at cash prizes. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.